When you walk through life, my friends, you will notice something subtle, but very important. People love to talk. They love to share everything they have, everything they dream of, everything they are building. The moment a seed of an idea is planted in their heart, they rush to tell the world, to show it, to prove that something is happening. But when you live like this, when you tell everyone your story, you are often giving away the energy that you need to actually build it. There is a principle in nature. Silence grows power. Think about a seed under the soil. It does not scream to the world, "I am becoming a tree." It does not shout to the birds or to the sky. It stays quiet, deep under the ground, surrounded by darkness, by pressure, by patience. But what happens? Because of that silence, it gathers energy. It uses that quiet time to root itself deeply, to strengthen, to build from within. Then, when it rises, it does not rise weakly. It breaks through the surface with power, with life, with growth that cannot be ignored. Many people do the opposite. The moment they have an idea, they run to show it. They rush to speak of it to everyone they know. And what happens? The energy that should have been used for creation gets lost in words. The momentum that should have been used to build the foundation gets scattered into opinions, judgments, and sometimes even envy. You lose your balance. You lose your focus. I am not saying to live in secrecy because of fear. I am saying to live in awareness because of strength. When you learn not to tell everyone your story, you are not being mysterious or distant. You are being wise. You are protecting your inner garden. You are choosing not to expose something that is still in its fragile stage of growth. When I was training as a young monk, I learned that discipline is not only about what you do, it is also about what you don't do. It is about what you refuse to share before it is time. Every morning we would rise before the sun in silence. That silence was not emptiness. It was preparation. It was gathering of energy. When you live in constant speech, you never allow silence to feed your strength. People today live in a time where everyone wants to be seen. Every action is broadcasted. Every plan is posted. Every goal is spoken before it is even born. But there is a law in life. What is spoken too early loses its strength. You must give time for your dreams to mature inside you. Let them develop their shape. Let them breathe. Let them gain power before you expose them to the noise of the world. If you tell everyone your story, you also invite everyone's energy into it. And not all energy is pure. Some people will doubt you. Some will question you. Some will laugh. Some will compete. And even if they say nothing, their thoughts, their silent opinions can touch you. When your story, your idea, your dream, your path is still fragile, that external energy can shake it. It can make you second guess yourself, slow your growth, or even stop it completely. So I tell you, be mindful of your silence. Protect it. Let your silence be your temple. When you are quiet, the universe listens. When you are noisy, the universe becomes silent. Choose carefully when to speak and when to hold. You do not need to announce your every step. You do not need to prove that you are working or that you are trying. The results will speak when the time is right. Just like a flower does not need to shout, "I am blooming." Its beauty announces itself through presence, not through noise. Now you might ask, but Shi Heng Yi, isn't it good to share with others? Isn't it good to tell people so they can support me, so they can encourage me? Yes, sometimes. But first, ask yourself, are you sharing because you need strength or because you need validation? Are you sharing because you want guidance or because you want attention? The intention behind your sharing determines whether it feeds your spirit or drains it. There is a difference between connection and exposure. Connection uplifts you, exposure weakens you. A wise person knows when to speak and when to be silent. They know that not everything sacred should be placed in public view. There are treasures that grow in the hidden, that find their strength in privacy. When you practice martial arts, we often say, do not show your weapon until you must. Because when you show it too early, you lose the element of surprise, the element of readiness. Life is similar. Do not show your weapon, your dream, your plan, your inner store, until it is ready to serve its purpose. I remember once a young student came to me. He was so full of excitement. He had an idea to start a business, to help people, to create something meaningful. And he told everyone, family, friends, strangers, every person he met, he spoke of it. Weeks passed and his energy began to fade. He said to me, "Master, I do not understand. I was so motivated, but now I feel lost." I asked him, "How many times did you tell your story?" He said, "Many," and I told him, "Then you lived your dream in your words, not in your actions." When you speak too soon, you trick the mind into feeling that you have already achieved something. The mind releases the same satisfaction as if you had done it. So the motivation drops, the fire cools. You think you have moved forward, but you have only spoken forward. Real growth happens in silence, in action, in discipline, in persistence. Not in telling, but in doing. So my friends, learn to hold your store within you until it is ready. Protect your energy like a sacred flame. If you constantly open the door, the wind will blow it out. Keep the door closed until the light burns strong enough to stand on its own. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. The loudest growth happens in quiet. The strongest warriors walk softly. The deepest rivers make the least noise. Let your power be felt through your actions, not through your words. When you stop telling everyone your story, you begin to notice how much time and energy you save. You stop seeking approval. You stop fearing judgment. You begin to live for yourself, not for applause, not for recognition, but for truth. And that truth becomes your anchor. Sometimes even people close to you will not understand this way of living. They will ask, "Why don't you share more? Why don't you tell me your plans?" You can smile and say, "Because I am still writing the story. The author does not show the book before it is finished. You are still writing your chapters. And when the time comes, the book will speak for itself." When you move in silence, you build confidence from within. You learn to trust your own rhythm. You stop comparing your path with others. You realize that the real competition is not outside. It is within. It is between who you were yesterday and who you are becoming today. Remember, my friends, not every storm deserves your explanation. And not every sunrise needs an announcement. Some of the most beautiful things in life happen quietly. A lotus blooms in the still pond, unseen by many, yet it remains pure, strong, graceful. Be like that lotus. Grow in the quiet. Shine without seeking attention. Your store, your dreams, your vision are sacred. Treat them with respect. Protect them from noise, from doubt, from unnecessary exposure. The more you keep them safe in silence, the stronger they become. Then, when you reveal them, the world will not see a half-built structure. They will see something complete, powerful, undeniable. Do not mistake silence for loneliness. Silence is where the spirit rests. It is where clarity is born. When you sit with yourself in stillness, you hear the voice of your own intuition. That voice is your best teacher, but when you keep speaking, when you keep telling, that voice gets lost in the noise. The true warrior speaks little but does much. The true dreamer builds quietly and lets the world witness the results. You do not need to tell everyone your story. You need to build it so solidly that when the doors open, people feel the power of what you created. So I invite you to take this lesson into your life. The next time you feel the urge to speak of your plans, pause. Ask yourself, is this the right time? Does this serve my growth? If not, keep it in your heart. Let your energy work for you, not against you. The silence of preparation is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is strength gathering itself. When the time is right, when your story is ready, you will not need to tell anyone. The world will see it. The results will speak louder than any words ever could. So remember this, my friends. Don't tell everyone your story. Build it, strengthen it, live it. Then, when the doors open, let the world enter, not into a dream that is still forming, but into a reality that stands unshakable. My friends, life has a rhythm. It moves in cycles: growth, rest, silence, expression. But many people today have forgotten one of the most powerful parts of that rhythm: the pause, the stillness, the unseen work. Everyone wants to be seen in the part where the flower blooms, but few respect the stage when the seed is still underground. And that is what I mean when I say, don't tell everyone your story. Your story is not just your business, not just your plan or dream. It is your inner temple, your collection of lessons, pain, and purpose. It is the story you are still writing. But when you tell everyone your story before it's built, you expose something sacred to forces that may not understand it. You give people access to something they have not earned the right to touch. When you tell your story too early, you weaken your own roots. It's like pulling a plant from the soil to show others how it's growing. You stop its growth the moment you lift it. So when you speak too soon, you are removing your dream from the space it needs to breathe. When I train with my students, I often tell them, every movement begins before it is visible. When you watch a martial artist perform, what you see is the tip of an iceberg. The power behind that visible movement comes from years of silent repetition, daily practice, small adjustments, constant correction. Nobody sees that. But that is where true mastery is formed. In silence, it is the same in life. You cannot expect a fruit to grow if you are always showing the seed. Keep it planted, keep it protected. Your dreams need privacy to mature. They need your devotion, not your declaration. When you tell everyone your story, you invite opinions. And opinions, my friends, are like wind. They can blow from any direction. One person may say that's impossible. Another may say it's too ambitious. A third may say you're not ready. And suddenly, your focus begins to shake. The wind of others' thoughts enters your temple, and your peace becomes disturbed. There is a saying, energy flows where attention goes. Every time you speak about your plan, you send energy outward. But what if you kept that same energy within? Imagine how strong your foundation could become if all that energy stayed inside you, feeding your purpose instead of feeding conversation. Do not misunderstand me. Sharing is not wrong, but sharing must be done with awareness. Ask yourself, am I speaking to express or to impress? Am I speaking to build connection or to seek approval? Because sometimes we share not to grow, but to be seen. And that small difference changes everything. The moment you start seeking validation, your growth becomes dependent on others' reactions. And when they don't respond how you wish, your motivation fades. This is how many dreams die. Not from lack of ability, but from exposure too early. The strongest trees grow slowly, silently. You do not hear them in the forest shouting about their growth. But when they reach maturity, they stand unshakable through any storm. Their roots are deep, their structure firm, and their presence powerful. Be like that tree. Do not rush to show your progress. Let your silence grow your strength. When I was young, my master once told me, if you want to be powerful, learn to be invisible while you prepare. I did not understand it at first. I thought power meant being seen, being recognized. But as I grew, I realized what he meant. True power does not need attention. True power is quiet, steady, controlled. It is not in showing, it is in knowing. It is not in telling, it is in being. When you tell everyone your story, you spend the power you have not yet built. You speak your potential into the air before it has form. Words have energy, yes, but when used too early, they take away from the energy of creation. You must learn to use your silence as a tool. Let it gather your strength like a bow being pulled before release. Many people ask me, how do I know when to speak and when to stay silent? The answer is simple. When your actions are louder than your words, you can speak. When your progress can stand on its own, then you can share. Before that, every word is a risk to your focus. There is beauty in mystery. There is power in privacy. And there is growth in solitude. You do not owe the world your plans. You owe yourself your commitment. When you stop explaining yourself to everyone, you start listening more deeply to your own intuition. That voice inside you knows when to act, when to wait, when to move, when to rest. Sometimes silence is misunderstood as isolation, but it is not. Silence is connection with yourself. It is your time to charge your energy, to rebuild your clarity, to understand your direction. In that stillness, you are not disconnected. You are preparing to connect more deeply, more authentically. In the Shaolin Temple, when we trained, there were days we would not speak for hours. The air was filled with sound, the sound of breathing, movement, discipline, but no unnecessary words. Why? Because speech can scatter focus, and focus is the essence of mastery. The same applies to your life outside the temple. If you scatter your focus by telling everyone your intentions, you lose the discipline of energy. Let me tell you something. People may not always support you. Some will envy your courage. Some will project their fears onto you. Others will secretly hope you fail because your success reminds them of what they haven't done. That is not your problem, but it becomes your problem. When you open your store to everyone and invite them in before it is ready, you must build walls before you open doors. You must light your lamp before you call others to see it. If you invite people too early, they may bring wind that blows out your flame. Protect your flame until it burns steady, until nothing can extinguish it. It is not selfish to protect your vision. It is wise, it is leadership. Great leaders, great creators, great warriors, they all understand timing. They all understand the art of silence. They move when it is time, and they speak when their actions already hold weight. I want you to remember something. Confidence is quiet, insecurity is loud. The more secure you are in your direction, the less you feel the need to announce it. The less you talk, the more you observe, and the more you observe, the wiser you become. Silence sharpens. Awareness builds precision. Precision leads to mastery. So, in this modern world where everyone wants to post, announce, and display, be different. Be still, be intentional. Move silently toward your goals, and let the world discover your work when it is ready to be seen. You see, even the sun rises silently. It does not make a sound when it appears, but everything it touches wakes up. That is real influence. Quiet, yet undeniable. You too can be that presence. You too can rise in silence and awaken everything around you through your actions. When you keep your store private, you create something sacred within yourself. Inner peace. You stop chasing approval. You stop explaining yourself. You stop trying to be understood by everyone, because not everyone is meant to understand your path. It is your path, not theirs. So many people fail not because they lack talent, but because they shared their vision with the wrong audience. They spoke to ears that could not hear, to minds that could not see. Protect your energy from such spaces. You do not need to explain light to those who live in darkness. Just shine. When you don't tell everyone your store, something beautiful happens. Your results become your words. Your actions become your message. People begin to notice, not because you told them, but because they feel the impact of what you have built. That is the most powerful form of communication. Silent influence. Let your progress speak. Let your transformation show. Let your peace be louder than your explanation. There is a quiet authority in people who live this way. You can sense it. You can feel that their strength comes from within. So my friends, I invite you once again, protect your inner store. Protect your plans, your dreams, your peace. Let the silence of your preparation be your advantage. Because in a world that cannot stop talking, silence is a superpower. When the time comes, when your store is complete, you will not need to open your mouth. The world will come to you. They will see the results. They will feel the energy of your consistency, your patience, your discipline. That is the reward of silence. When you no longer need to prove anything because your work speaks the truth. Remember this. Your journey is not a performance. It is a process. You are not here to entertain others with your progress. You are here to evolve. Growth is sacred. Keep it sacred. Let your silence shape you until your presence alone can inspire others. So when you leave this room today, carry this in your heart. Not everything you know needs to be told. Not every plan needs to be shared. Not every dream needs to be discussed. Some things need to be protected, nourished, and matured in silence. And one day when your store is ready, when it stands strong and beautiful, then you can open the doors and let the world see what silence built. Because that, my friends, is true power. When your success speaks for you, and your silence echoes louder than any words ever could. When I say, don't tell everyone your store, I am not telling you to hide your life. I am telling you to protect your energy. There's a big difference between secrecy and sacredness. Secrecy comes from fear. Sacredness comes from understanding the value of what you hold. When you recognize that your dreams, your ideas, your goals are sacred, you stop showing them to everyone. You treat them like treasures, not because you are selfish, but because you understand their worth. In today's world, people are addicted to exposure. The moment something new is born inside them, a thought, an idea, a plan, they run to tell everyone. They post it, they announce it, they share it. But by doing this, they give away something that should have been kept within, the pure energy of creation. When you keep your energy inside, it grows, it matures, it becomes powerful. But when you release it too soon, you weaken it. You dilute your strength through words instead of actions. You give others access to your inner world, and not all who enter will honor it. Think of a blacksmith. Before he creates a sword, he heats the metal in silence. He shapes it with patience, with rhythm, with consistency. No one applauds him in that moment. No one even sees it. The sound of his hammer is his meditation. And when the sword is ready, he does not say much. He simply shows the result. The sword speaks for his skill. This is how life should be lived. Work silently on your craft. Build your foundation. Master your rhythm. You do not need to announce that you are working. The results will reveal it. Too many people speak of their future as if words can replace effort. They talk about what they are going to do, who they are going to become, what they plan to achieve. But the universe does not respond to talk. It responds to energy, to consistency, to the vibration of discipline. When you tell everyone your story, you spend your discipline in conversation. You trick your mind into thinking you have already done the work. That's why you feel a burst of excitement when you tell someone about your idea. It feels like progress. But that feeling is false. It is a psychological illusion. The mind receives the same dopamine as if it had already achieved something. And then what happens? The motivation fades, the discipline weakens, and the dream stays unfinished. So I tell you again, don't tell everyone your story. Let your actions carry your story. Let your growth be private until it becomes powerful enough to be seen. When you hold your silence, something magical happens. You begin to hear your own inner voice more clearly. You begin to see where you are going, not through noise, but through clarity. Most people cannot hear themselves because they are too busy talking. But the path of mastery requires listening. Listening to your intuition, to your heart, to your breath. In the Shaolin Temple, we practice movements thousands of times in silence. We do not need to speak. The repetition itself speaks. The silence becomes a teacher. The mind becomes sharp. The body becomes disciplined. And the heart becomes humble. Silence creates strength. When you tell everyone your story, you lose that silence. You lose that humility. You begin to look outward instead of inward. You begin to care about what others think of your path instead of what you truly feel about it. That is how many people lose themselves, by giving the steering wheel of their life to other people's opinions. Let me tell you a story. A young monk once came to me and said, "Master, I have an idea. I want to write a book about my journey." I smiled and said, "That is a good idea. What have you written so far?" He said, "Nothing yet, but I have told many people about it." I asked him, "And how do you feel?" He said, "I feel less excited than before." I told him, "That is because you have already released the energy that was meant for writing. You shared the seed before it became a tree." He understood. Months later, he came back quietly, and this time, he did not say anything. He simply handed me a finished book. That is the difference between talking and doing. You see, life gives energy to those who use it wisely. When you talk too much about what you're going to do, you waste that energy. When you work in silence, you multiply it. Your store, your vision, your plan is like a temple being built stone by stone. If you open the gates before the walls are complete, the structure collapses. Build your walls first, make them strong. Then open the gates when the temple can stand on its own. Sometimes people will question you. They will say, "Why are you so quiet? Why don't you tell me what you are doing?" Let them wonder. Let them think what they want. You are not living to satisfy curiosity. You are living to fulfill purpose. Do not be afraid to be misunderstood. The silence that others cannot understand will become the success that they cannot ignore. The path of mastery is often a lonely one, but that loneliness is sacred. It is in solitude that strength is born. You must learn to trust your process. You must learn to honor your timing. When you are patient, life aligns in your favor. When you rush, life resists. That is why silence is so important. It teaches patience. It teaches you to wait without losing faith. It teaches you to build without needing validation. In silence, you learn who truly supports you. The ones who need to see constant proof of your progress are not walking with you. They are observing you. But the ones who trust your silence, who give you space to grow without questioning you, those are your people. Keep them close. Do not fear silence. Fear distraction. Fear the noise that steals your peace and weakens your purpose. Every word you speak unnecessarily is energy that could have gone into your dream. Every conversation about your plan is a door that lets doubt walk in. So guard your store. Protect it like a sacred fire. Only speak of it when the flames are strong enough that no wind can blow them out. You must also understand, silence is not passive. It is active. It is the space where your mind sharpens and your discipline strengthens. Every day that you work quietly, you are building something that cannot be taken away. You are building momentum. And when the time comes, when you reveal what you have built, people will ask, "When did you do this?" And you will smile, because you know, you did it while the world was sleeping, while others were talking, while others were doubting. You were moving in silence. There is a deep satisfaction in that kind of growth. The kind that no one sees until it is undeniable. The kind that doesn't need applause because the fulfillment is internal. You know the truth of your effort, and that is enough. Remember, true peace does not come from being understood. It comes from understanding yourself. When you stop telling everyone your story, you stop needing external confirmation. You begin to live from your own approval, your own alignment. That is freedom, and that freedom radiates. People will feel it when they meet you. They will sense that you are calm, centered, unshakable. Because when you no longer seek attention, attention seeks you. When you no longer chase validation, respect comes naturally. That is the power of silence. It transforms you from within. It changes how you carry yourself, how you think, how you act. You no longer speak to prove, you speak to share. You no longer work to be seen. You work to serve. My friends, you must understand, everything in nature grows in silence. The sun rises quietly. The moon changes its phase silently. The ocean moves without shouting. Even your heart beats silently. Life itself does not make noise, but its power is infinite. So why do you think your growth needs to be loud? Why do you think your progress must be announced? Be like nature. Move with quiet confidence. Trust the process of becoming. There is beauty in silence that words can never touch. In silence, you are closest to your truth. In silence, you remember who you are. You are not here to impress. You are here to express. And sometimes the most powerful expression is quiet consistency. Don't tell everyone your story. Keep it sacred. Work in the shadows until your light is too bright to be ignored. When that time comes, your silence will speak volumes. The world will see not your words, but your wisdom, not your promises, but your proof. And when they ask you how you did it, you can smile and say, "I was silent when it mattered. I was working while others were speaking. I was protecting what was mine until it became strong enough to share." That is mastery. That is balance. That is the art of living with awareness. So as you walk out into the world after this, carry this message with you. Not everything needs to be spoken. Not everyone needs to know. Some of the most powerful moments in your life will happen quietly. And that is how it should be. Because when your silence becomes full of purpose, your presence becomes unstoppable. When you begin walking on the path of growth, one of the first lessons you must learn is how to protect your energy. Protecting your energy is not about avoiding people or isolating yourself from the world. It is about knowing when to share and when to remain silent. It is about knowing what to give and what to keep. It is about understanding that not everyone deserves access to the sacred space within you. That is what I mean when I say, don't tell everyone your story. Your store represents your inner garden, your dreams, your lessons, your journey, your vision. It is your sacred space of creation. But many people today treat their store as if it were a marketplace, open for anyone to walk in, to comment, to take what they like and leave. This is why so many lose focus. This is why so many feel empty after sharing too much. The more you tell, the less you build. The more you show, the less you grow. Because when you expose your vision before it has roots, you invite interference. You give others the opportunity to place their opinions, their doubts, their fears into your soil. And if you are not strong enough, those opinions can grow like weeds that choke your own dreams. When you keep silent, when you work quietly, you protect that inner soil. You allow your roots to grow deep and strong. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of strength. It is a form of discipline, a form of self-respect. In the Shaolin way, discipline is not only about movement, it is about mastery over speech. My master once told me, if your words have no purpose, they steal energy from your spirit. I understood later what he meant. Every unnecessary word is a leak in your energy system. Every time you speak without awareness, you scatter focus. Many people talk about focus, but they do not realize that speech is one of the greatest enemies of focus when used without intention. The more you speak of what you will do, the less energy you have to actually do it. The more you talk about your plan, the less mystery remains, and mystery is power. When something is unseen, it has infinite potential. But once it is spoken, it becomes limited by perception. The moment you tell someone your dream, it becomes filtered through their mind, their beliefs, their fears. And if you are not deeply grounded, you might begin to see your own dream through their eyes instead of your own. You must understand this. Your path is not meant to be understood by everyone. Some will not see your vision because they are not meant to walk that path. That is why protecting your silence is an act of wisdom. When you do not tell everyone your story, you allow your intuition to guide you. You allow your connection with yourself to strengthen. You stop looking for outside validation. You stop seeking applause. You begin to live in alignment with your purpose, not with people's opinions. People will always talk. They will always have something to say. But silence gives you distance from that noise. When you are silent, the opinions of others lose their grip. Their words cannot reach you because your focus is inward. I have seen many students fall, not because they lack talent, but because they shared too much, too soon. They let the energy of others enter their sacred space. They let doubt creep in. And when doubt enters, clarity leaves. One student once came to me and said, "Master, every time I share my plans with people, things stop working. Why does this happen?" I told him, "Because you open the door too early. The wind of other people's opinions blows out your candle." You see, when a flame is small, it is easily disturbed. But when it becomes strong, no wind can put it out. So protect your flame while it is still growing. Let it burn quietly, steadily, until nothing can shake it. The strongest power in the universe moves silently. Look at nature. The earth spins silently. The seasons change silently. The trees grow silently. Yet their power is undeniable. This is how you must move. With quiet determination, with stillness that contains strength. When you tell everyone your story, you break your rhythm. You let external noise disrupt your internal harmony. And when harmony is lost, so is clarity. There is a saying, the empty drum makes the loudest sound. Many people make noise because they are not yet full. They speak of what they are going to do because they have not yet done it. But the ones who have truly built something, the ones who have walked through the fire, they do not need to speak much. The presence speaks for them. The silence carries weight. So do not be afraid to be silent. Do not be afraid to move quietly. The world teaches you that you must announce every step, that you must prove yourself constantly. But I tell you, true confidence has no need to prove. It simply is. When you know who you are, when you know where you are going, you do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to announce your moves. You simply move, and life aligns. I have seen this truth not only in the temple, but in every path of mastery, in art, in business, in relationships, in life. The ones who succeed are those who learn to preserve their energy. They know when to speak and when to remain still. Silence gives you the space to think clearly. It gives you the room to make mistakes privately, to correct them without the pressure of the world watching. When you build quietly, you build authentically. You are not performing, you are creating. The moment you start performing for others, you lose the essence of your journey. You start adjusting your path to please the audience. You start changing direction based on feedback instead of intuition. And before you know it, you are no longer building your dream. You are building someone else's version of it. That is why I tell you, protect your store. Don't open it until it's ready. Build behind closed doors. Let the walls of silence keep your focus safe. Sometimes people will misunderstand your quietness. They will think you are secretive or proud or disconnected, but you must not let their misunderstanding distract you. Let them think what they wish. You are not here to explain. You are here to evolve. In time they will see. In time, when your work is complete, when your store opens, when your results stand before them, they will understand. And they will remember that you did not waste words. You used action. Every seed needs darkness before light. Every warrior needs solitude before battle. Every dream needs silence before it becomes reality. The silence is not a pause, it is preparation. When you learn to move in silence, you develop a relationship with patience. You stop rushing, you stop comparing, you begin to trust the timing of your growth. You understand that real transformation takes time and that time should not be interrupted by noise. When you stop telling everyone your story, you will notice how much lighter you feel. You will have fewer distractions, fewer opinions, fewer interruptions. Your mind becomes peaceful, your energy focused. You begin to enjoy the process rather than seeking recognition for it. There is a great freedom in that. You no longer need to prove your worth. You simply live it. And that is the true reward of silence. Peace. Peace is not found in the applause of others. It is found in the quiet knowing that you are walking your path, doing your work, living your truth. When you have that peace, you no longer crave validation. You no longer seek attention. You no longer depend on the outside world for motivation. You become self-sustaining. This is the essence of mastery, when your energy comes from within, not from without. So my friends, I say again, don't tell everyone your story. Let your silence be your sanctuary. Let your progress be your proof. When the time is right, your results will speak so loudly that you won't need to say a single word. And those who once doubted you will listen. Those who once questioned you will learn. And those who once tried to distract you will stand in silence, because your presence will say what words never could. Remember, the path of silence is not the path of weakness. It is the path of strength. It is the way of the warrior, the creator, the master. The one who can hold silence can hold power. The one who can hold power can shape destiny. So protect your store, protect your energy, protect your dreams. Not everyone deserves to see your process. Let them see your results. Work quietly, move wisely, speak rarely, and when your time comes, when your store is ready, open it with pride, with grace, with gratitude. Let the world see what patience, silence, and discipline can build, because that, my friends, is true greatness, not in telling, but in becoming. There is a wisdom that grows only in silence. It does not come from books, nor from others' opinions. It comes from stillness, from the quiet observation of life, from listening to the voice that speaks when the world around you has become silent. That voice, my friends, is your inner master. It is the one that knows when to move and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain quiet. And if you truly want to live with balance and strength, you must learn to listen to it. That is why I say again, don't tell everyone your story, because when you speak too soon, you silence that voice within, you drown out your own guidance with the noise of the world, you replace intuition with opinion, direction with distraction, truth with approval, and that slowly takes you away from who you are. In this life, you are constantly building dreams, relationships, skills, habits, inner peace. But every store, every creation needs a sacred space where it can grow without interference. Think of a sculptor. He does not invite people into his workshop every hour to show them what he is making. He works quietly, shaping, chiseling, adjusting. Only when the sculpture is complete does he reveal it. and everyone sees the beauty. But that beauty was born in solitude. It was born in patience. It was born in silence. You are the sculptor of your own life, and your thoughts, your habits, your actions are the tools you use to carve your future. If you keep showing everyone your unfinished work, their opinions may alter your design. Their comments may cause hesitation in your movements. That is how many people lose the shape of their dream, not because they lack ability, but because they allowed too many hands to touch their creation. Silence protects design. Silence keeps direction clear. There is a difference between being private and being closed. Privacy is strength. It is awareness. It means you know what to protect. Closedness comes from fear. It means you are hiding. I am not telling you to hide. I am telling you to protect what matters until it becomes strong enough to exist without protection. The most powerful things in life grow unseen. Your heart beats quietly. The roots of the tree grow deep underground. The embryo grows in darkness before life begins. Nature teaches us this lesson again and again. Silence is the space of creation. But what do most people do? They want to show everything before it's ready. They post it, they share it, they talk about it. They want validation before completion, but validation before completion is poison. It takes away the hunger, the drive, the mystery, the sacred energy that fuels progress. When you tell everyone your store, you spend energy that should have been used for creation. You scatter your focus across too many conversations, too many opinions, too many distractions. And slowly, you lose the fire that started the dream. Have you ever noticed? When you talk about your plan too much, you start to feel tired before you even begin. That's because you have already lived it in your words. The energy that was meant for action gets released in speech. The more you talk, the less you move. Silence is not empty. Silence is stored power. Every quiet moment is a seed of energy waiting to be used. Every hour of silence is a moment of alignment. And when the time comes to act, all that energy is available. Pure, focused, unstoppable. When you tell everyone your store, you not only give away your energy, you invite energy from others. And not all energy is good. Some people will not understand your vision, and that's fine. But some will judge, some will envy, some will compare. Without even realizing it, they project their own limitations onto you. And if you are not careful, you begin to absorb it. You start to question yourself. You begin to think smaller, doubt more, move slower. That is how external noise becomes an internal barrier. Protect yourself from that. Protect your store. You do not need to announce every goal. You do not need to prove that you are doing something. The best proof is progress. The best announcement is achievement. When you live this way, people will begin to notice your change, not because you told them, but because your energy speaks louder than words. They will see that something about you has shifted. Your presence, your calmness, your strength. That is the power of silent growth. You see, in Shaolin philosophy, there is a teaching. The louder the student, the emptier the mind. The quieter the student, the deeper the understanding. When you are new to something, you talk a lot because you are trying to convince yourself you belong there. But as you gain mastery, the need to prove disappears. You no longer explain, you simply live it. Apply this to your life. You don't have to talk about your transformation. You don't have to tell people you are changing. Let your silence, your discipline, your peace show it. The world has too much noise and too little awareness. Be one of the few who moves differently. Be one of the few who builds quietly, who lets results speak. Because when you master silence, you master presence. And presence, that is the ultimate form of communication. When you walk into a room and your energy is calm, focused, collected, people feel it. You don't have to say a single word. They sense the discipline behind your silence. They sense the strength that doesn't need to shout. This is the kind of power silence gives you. The kind that doesn't need to announce itself because it already exists. When I train students, I watch not only how they move, but how they breathe, how they stand, how they react. The ones who talk too much are usually the ones who fear silence, because silence reveals truth, but truth is where growth begins. Silence will show you what you truly believe. It will show you whether your dreams come from ego or from purpose. It will show you whether your actions are rooted in discipline or in desire for attention. That is why silence can feel uncomfortable. because it reflects you back to yourself. But once you embrace it, it becomes your ally. It becomes the place where clarity is born. When you stop telling everyone your story, you stop living through others' reactions, you begin to live through your own conviction. You no longer depend on praise to keep moving. You no longer stop when people don't notice. You move because the purpose itself is enough. This is true freedom, to walk your path quietly, to grow without needing permission, to build without needing applause. I once met a young man who told me, "Master, I want to inspire others." I smiled and asked him, "How do you plan to do that?" He said, "By telling them all my plans, all my dreams, all my goals." I told him, "That will not inspire them. You do not inspire others by speaking of what you will do. You inspire them by showing what you have done." Later, after many years, he returned. He had built something meaningful, something real, and when he walked into the room, he did not speak loudly. He simply smiled. His presence alone was inspiring. That is the transformation silence brings. It turns your intention into reality, your words into actions, your goals into results. My friends, there is a reason why even the most powerful forces in the world are silent. The sun does not speak, yet it gives life. The mountain does not move, yet it commands respect. The river does not announce its journey, yet it carves valleys and shapes the earth. Power and noise are rarely found together. You must become like that. Steady like a mountain, clear like a river, radiant like the sun, all moving in silence. When you practice this, you will notice your peace returning. You will notice your energy becoming more concentrated. You will notice that you are no longer reacting to the noise of others. You are simply living with purpose, with direction, with calmness. That is what real strength feels like. Not loud, not aggressive, but calm, confident, centered. And the more you live this way, the more your life becomes an example to others. Without trying, without speaking much, you begin to inspire through being. That is the final lesson in not telling everyone your story. It teaches you to live so authentically that your life becomes your message. You do not need to tell the world who you are. The world will feel it. You do not need to say, "I am becoming stronger." They will see it in your eyes, in your actions, in the way you carry yourself. You do not need to say, "I am changing." They will feel it in your silence, in your peace, in your presence. Because when you grow quietly, your energy speaks. And that is something words can never do. So, my friends, I say this as we close this teaching. Silence is not your enemy. It is your ally. Protect it, embrace it, use it. Don't tell everyone your story. Build it with patience, strengthen it with discipline, guard it with silence. And when the time comes, open the doors, not with words, but with presence. Let the light of what you have built fill the room. And when people ask you, "How did you do it?" you can simply smile, bow your head slightly, and say, "I worked in silence. I trusted the process. I let my results speak." Because that, my friends, is the way of true mastery. That is the way of growth. That is the way of peace. And if you live like that, quietly, intentionally, faithfully, your store will never be empty. It will always be filled with wisdom, with strength, with the quiet beauty of a life lived with purpose.